We appreciate you joining us as we continue to track the tropics. Two systems taking all of the headlines. We've got one hurricane and one tropical storm. We begin with Tropical Storm Imelda, expected to strengthen into a hurricane later today. We are going to see these two storms give us some impacts across the lower 48. In fact, that's what we're going to be dealing with. Not a direct landfall, but we will be dealing with the impacts as far as some storms, some higher waves, also some rip currents, and that's something we got to watch closely here. So here's what we've got. We've got Imelda and Umberto right next to each other, and we'll expect Imelda to strengthen into a hurricane today. Probably not a major hurricane like we saw with the other systems that have come through, but we'll watch closely as this is going to bring some impacts perhaps to Bermuda. Direct impacts, that is. And for us along the United States, we're talking about some big waves. We're talking about some rip currents. Those will extend from Florida clear up into Maine. And it's something we need to watch. A lot of times we're off on the coast and we're not thinking about the rip currents, and those are just going to be downright dangerous. We do have some outer rain bands moving all the way into portions of North Carolina. By the way, Imelda at winds at 70 miles per hour with the latest advisory coming in at 5 a.m. Just very, very close to becoming a Cat 1 hurricane. It continues to move to the north and eventually gets picked up and moved off to the north and northeast. We watch Bermuda. Bermuda now has a hurricane watch, and notice the island, as small as it is, it's right smack in the center of the cone for Imelda. So a hurricane watch is in place there. Fox Weather Meteorologist Haley Meyer, by the way, is out in Bermuda and will bring us updates throughout the day as well. So as we continue to watch what's been going on with the radar, some of the outer rain bands continue to get pulled up into portions of Carolina. North Carolina, we do have some rain moving into western North Carolina as well. Now, as the system pulls away, so does the moisture. We are going to be dealing with some scattered showers for the morning hours, about an inch of rain potentially. Of course, the higher elevations will be getting in on some of that rain, so watch for the potential for some localized flooding. Here's a look at the radar as we go through look at the past 3 hours. It's starting to fill in on the western side of the storm. Yesterday, it was just over land. So having said that, yesterday was having a hard time on the southern side. Now, the wave heights in and around this are pretty impressive. You're talking 15 to 18-foot waves. Closer to the coast of the United States, especially Florida, you've got some big breakers, 9 to 10 feet. That's going to be a concern. We'll also have a constant onshore push with the onshore flow, which would also be a concern for water inundation. The latest track for Imelda takes it right over Bermuda, and we do expect this to become a Cat 1 hurricane and then just intensify a little bit more as we go through Thursday, and then eventually as it starts to move off to the open waters, lose some of its energy, and this thing will be a history for us. All right, and as we head to the East Coast, we watch more in the way of surf, big waves, also dealing with some scattered showers. Imelda brings the threat for those large waves and rip currents right through the end of the week. Now, this is going to be a major concern for us. When we talk about rip currents, I have to tell you, it's regional when it comes to rip current warnings that are issued. So we've got those in place today for a good chunk of the eastern seaboard. As we go through the 1st of October, those aren't issued quite as regularly for places like New Jersey. Further north you go, we start to lose those, but we do have those across the south today. Taking a look at the two systems side by side, both having plenty of wave energy getting whipped back to the coast of the United States. And that wave energy takes some time to make it all the way to the coast. So having said that, as these two storms lift out of here, we're going to be dealing with these waves most of this week, perhaps all the way into Saturday morning. We also have some high pressure that's building over the portions of the Great Lakes, and you can just make it out to the north up here. So what we've got going on is a bit of a pressure gradient, and that pressure gradient between the Atlantic storms and that high pressure will give us the constant onshore push. That constant onshore push is going to be a concern for coastal flooding. Consistent onshore push, especially for the outer banks of North Carolina, we'll notice there we've got some flood issues, especially when it comes to high tide. Water inundation, 1 to 2 feet, potentially here. High surf advisories are also in place from Hatteras clear down and along the Space Coast, almost all the way down through most of Florida. That pressure gradient continues for today, and some of the winds could get gusting up to about 40 miles per hour. Generally speaking, 25 to 30 miles per hour, but some of the stronger winds could get up to 40 miles per hour at times. Of course, the stronger winds are closer to the center of the storm, as you can see some of these buoys, 34-mile-per-hour gusts there. But what you'll notice is the constant direction coming in from the north-northeast, and that's what we'll be watching for as far as the water being pushed well inland into the inlets, the rivers, the streams, all of it. Now look at the wave heights right now. Just off the coast, we're talking about 9 to 10 foot waves, even 13-foot waves. The closer to the coast you go, we've got 3 to 6 foot breakers. These waves are coming in one after the other, so we'll also be dealing with more in the way of beach erosion. Remember we were talking about beach erosion when we had Aaron? Well, now we've got more of it. So as we look at the wave height for the rest of the day, today, closer to the coast, hugging the coast, easily 6 to 9 foot waves. As the storms pull away, you'd think the waves would go down. But notice we're still dealing with 6 to 9 foot waves as we go through the day into Thursday and Thursday evening. And even into Friday, we still have some gusty or some big waves to contend with. Now, here's the coastal flood warnings we're talking about. They do extend over portions of the Outer Banks. A lot of these highways, Highway 12 could be dealing with water coming up and over, which we see this time of year. We'll continue with some of those gusts today. Notice 20 to 30, but again, at times you could get a gust up to 40 miles per hour. So that's something we got to watch closely, especially with so many people out and about, a lot of blowing sand. You've got the potential for some possible power outages. So watch for this closely. We'll watch this with you as well. Hatteras, by the way, when you take a look at the winds, consistently coming in at about 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour.